Hi, this is Kelly with Gia's Italian Kitchen. I am here today with two very special guests all the way from the West Coast virtually. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm very excited. We're doing a very special episode on kitchen safety, and we're going to promote this small town in Oregon. So Tom and Rebecca, thank you so much for joining me. This is exciting. So Tom is the fire chief near Rogue River in Oregon. So what's the name of your town?
So I'm the fire chief of Evans Valley Fire District number 6, and we're located in the unincorporated community of Weimar in Jackson County. So we're about 4 hours south of Portland and about 8 hours west of Boise. We're about north of north of the California border. So we sit in the Weimar Range, just on the east side of Grants Pass, tucked up in the northwestern corner of Jackson County.
I love it. I love it. So I used to live out there in Boise many years ago, and I have relatives in Portland. So it's an absolutely beautiful area out there. So very jealous I couldn't fly out there and do this in person.
Next time.
And Rebecca, you and I have known each other for a few years virtually through Oakmont, California, right? You were down there and you've since moved to Oregon.
Yeah, we took the plunge and we decided to move where we've always wanted to live. And so we're very happy to be here in South Oregon.
That is fabulous. So you guys are connected because we're doing a fundraiser for the fire department in June, right? I think it's June 1st.
Correct.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that. And then the educational piece of our show tonight is Fire Chief Tom is going to give us some excellent safety tips for kitchen safety. So tell us a little bit about the event.
So on June 1st, we are hosting the very first Evans Valley Fire District Crab Feed fundraiser. It will be in the town of Rogue River at the brand new Rogue Pub and Putt, which is a locally family-owned restaurant. Medford's award-winning The Wharf will be doing our catering. We will have music from Sights and Sounds. We will have over $10,000 worth of raffle and silent auction prizes to win. So it will be a very fun community event.
Awesome. And I'll be one of the prizes, right?
Well, yes.
So we'll talk about that later, but yes, special prize there. So let's jump into some fire safety. So Tom, thank you for doing this. I'm really excited to just learn more and spread some safety tips to the viewers out there in Oregon. I'm in Iowa, but all over the place. I've got viewers in Georgia and Chicago and North Carolina and Texas. So I mean, they're all over the place. So this is a really great opportunity to just tell people what to do, what not to do, and maybe some tips when they're, whether it's holiday cooking or just regular cooking, how to not use these when at all possible. So where should we start? Do you want to give us like an overarching, like what's the worst thing? Give us or maybe a story, like a really bad story.
Well, the worst thing would be, you're cooking for your family on Thanksgiving and you leave your oven unattended, or maybe you're deep frying it and you fill too much oil in the turkey fryer and you drop a frozen turkey and then poof, we got flames all over, and then you're having to go to Chinese food to eat dinner, right? Nobody wants that. We all want that nice homemade, dinner cooked by mom or grandma. To enjoy with our family. So the biggest thing we can walk away with from today is all about prevention, right? Prevention is going to make us safe in the kitchen when we're cooking. It's going to keep us safe throughout all of our years when we're, making those delicacies of breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So the biggest thing with prevention is never leave your cooking unattended, right? You always want to be in the kitchen at all times. If you have to leave, go out of the kitchen, use the restroom, attend to a child, answer a phone. We want to make sure we turn our stove or we turn our oven off. If we're simmering or sauteing anything, we want to make sure that our heat is regulated right. We don't want to burn the bolognese sauce, right? That would be very bad.
That'd be very bad.
Yeah, it would be. So we want to make sure that we're cooking at the right temperature. So have a grease thermometer, a meat thermometer with you to keep that temperature, right? 350 is 350 degrees. We don't want to go 351. We can get a little burnage there, and we want to make sure that it comes out nice and crispy and not oily or greasy. So, prevention, staying attended, having the right tools with you in the kitchen, right? I see you have an extinguisher and a fire blanket, and we can maybe get into those a little bit more later down this evening. But staying attended, watching out for children, dogs, pets, things that distract us, right? Well, it's same as when we're driving distracted, we may run into an accident. Same with when we're cooking. We want to be focused on what we're doing. We want to make sure that we free ourselves from those distractions. We have the right temperature. We're staying attended, and children's a big one, right? We have kids moving around. We want to make sure they're about 3 feet away from the stove or any appliances that might be cooking. And we want to turn our handles inside, right? So if you got that toddler, about 24 months old, right, just starting to truck around the kitchen and they're grabbing stuff. Well, we got a hot pan full of oil and they grab that oil or hot water, that'd be very bad. So we want to try to prevent that as much as possible.
So one thing that you just said that I know people that do this, and so I want to call 2 things out. Some people think that by putting their oven on really low, that they can just like go to the store and leave their house and nobody's home and the oven's on. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? Like, that's bad. Is that bad?
Oh, that's terrible. I mean, we've all probably seen Christmas Vacation, right?
Yeah.
And they pull the turkey out and she cuts into it, beautiful bird, and then it just shrinks. It just dehydrates. So any time anything's on, we want to be attending it, right? You can't run to go to the store. Not only do we put our food in jeopardy, but we're going to put our house in jeopardy.
Right.
If you have an electric oven or you have a gas oven, the gas might blow out, and then now you're charging your house full of gas. You walk in, you flip on the light switch, you don't smell the gas, and boom, house goes up. Bad news. Or electric. Even if it's on low, it's still pulling a draw off your electrical system. Well, if you lived in an older home or maybe even new construction, there might be a faulty wire somewhere that can overheat the wire, which can cause internal wiring damage within your walls, and you'll get some arcing, and then that could lead to a fire. So we always want to be attended, right? We always want to be there, paying attention to what we're doing.
Absolutely. So for those of you that do that go to the store and leave your oven on, Fire Chief Tom is agreeing with me. Don't do that. Turn the oven off before you leave the house. Okay, the other thing is that, and this, I think a lot of this is, we think it's common sense, but it's not common sense to everybody, which is why I think, getting this message out is so important. But the turkey fryer, whether you're doing it for Super Bowl or, Thanksgiving, a lot of people do that. The turkey fryer should be inside or outside?
Outside, 100%. Read the manufacturer's directions. I can't speak enough to putting the correct amount of oil in. And when they say your turkey is thawed out, make sure it's 100% thawed out. Oil and water do not mix. So we want to keep that turkey fryer outside, and that doesn't mean in the garage. That's halfway outside. We want it to be all the way outside. And we want it to be clear of any flammable debris, right? So if you put it on your back porch and it's a wood deck, wood burns. It's Class A material. So we want to look somewhere out in the grass. We want to look somewhere out in your driveway, somewhere that's clear and free of flammable vegetation, just in case we don't read our manufacturer's instructions. And we might have the turkey a little frozen. We might have a little bit too much oil. It might be a little too hot, because once that oil overflows and hits that flame, up in flames. And we've all seen the YouTube videos and the podcasts from fire departments. So let's try not to reenact that at your home over the holidays.
Yeah, I think the frozen thing is probably a big thing in terms of frequency, because it takes so long to thaw that people don't anticipate, and they're like, we'll just throw it in there.
Yeah.
No. Okay, then you just said one other thing that I have a couple props here that I wanted to just get some clarification on. So I have flour and I have water. Now I know that we're not, you've got a flame over there or something starts a little flame on fire. We're not supposed to throw water on like an oil spill, right? So we've got a fire hydrant, a fire blanket, flour, and water. Tell us, what do we use? What do we not use, and when?
Yeah. So the number one thing that you can do if you have your pan or your pot that catches on fire and the contents inside of it is we want to exclude the oxygen from it, right? So that's part of the fire tetrahedron, and I'm not going to go all Bill Nye, the science guy, and all of it. But we need oxygen, we need fuel, we need heat, and then a spontaneous reaction to make fire. So we need to remove one of those to put fire out.
Wait, say those again.
So
what are they again? Say it again.
So if you have fuel, you have heat, oxygen, and with those you need a spontaneous chemical to make them work, right? And that's your fire tetrahedron. So in order to put a fire out, we have to remove one of those. Okay, and by removing the oxygen, by placing a cover on top of it, a lid or a cookie sheet, we're going to remove the oxygen from that fire and it will go out. So the second thing you want to do is you want to turn the fuel off, right? So if you have an electric stove, turn it off. You have a gas stove, turn it off. That's step number 2. But the most important thing we can do is we need to smother it. So if you have a lid nearby that you're using with a pan, put that over if you're safe to do so. If you have a cookie sheet next to you, put that over it, right? We want to prevent the oxygen from getting inside. That's going to smother the fire, and then we want to turn our heat source off.
So the oxygen is really, like, if I'm thinking the what if, the oxygen deprivation is really like the most, aside from turning it off. Turn it off first, but the oxygen is like the quickest, how do I make this stop? Is turn off the oxygen source. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the water is not going to do that.
No, if you put water into, if you're frying bacon, right, and you let the pan on super high,
it's going to go.
That water is going to displace that oil. And if that oil gets onto your walls, now you just took your fire from a little problem in your pan to a bigger problem on your walls.
Yeah.
We don't want to use water. Water is going to absorb the heat, right? So we use water in our industry all the time because it's the most effective use of an extinguishing agent because it reduces the BTUs inside of a fire and absorbs the heat. In a cooking instance, we want to exclude the oxygen from it. We want to smother it so it can't spread anymore.
Okay. So is flour ever, I don't know, I feel like this is like an old wives' tale or something that my grandma used to do. I don't know, but I was thinking about what are the things people would be grabbing, and this is one of the things I grabbed. So is this like an old wives' tale, or what's the deal with the flour?
Yes and no. I've seen mixed reviews, mixed opinions. All the information that I've received or I've done my homework on through the National Fire Protection Association, which has wonderful resources for homeowners and the general public on cooking safety, all the way to fire safety. Go to their website and download their free flyers and brochures. They don't discuss the use of flour. Now, 20 years ago, if I were to walk in my grandmother's kitchen during a Christmas dinner and she might have burnt something or something might have caught, I'm sure she would have thrown flour onto it, right? We all probably have. That's probably what we were taught growing up. Yeah. However, that's not today's recommendation.
Yeah.
And the reason why is if we look at fuel mass density, the flour in itself isn't flammable, but the particles, when it's air-sized, could be. Okay. So if you take cornstarch and you dump a little bit on your counter and you light it with a lighter, it's not going to burn. But if you take cornstarch and same lighter and you blow the cornstarch into the flame, it's going to ignite. And that's because your surface to mass density is a lot less.
Okay.
So I would recommend either using a Class ABC extinguisher for general purpose extinguishment or a fire blanket like you have. And that's going to smother the fire, exclude the oxygen, and then we're going to have a great Christmas dinner.
Okay, so dinner, let's pivot and go back to Rebecca. Tell us what's going to be served. Speaking of big turkey fryers, and I know it's not turkey, it's crab, but tell us what are people going to expect at this fundraising dinner?
So we're so excited to have partnered with the Wharf. So they will be handling the events catering. So it will be a 3-course. They'll be starting you out with your salad and your rolls, then moving you on to a pasta dinner, and then ending the evening with their Dungeness crab. Visualizing.
No, I was just wondering if it was a seated dinner or like cocktail style or buffet, or just so people know what to expect.
So it will be fully seated, and the volunteer firefighters will actually be your servers that evening.
Oh, nice.
It will be brought to the table family style. Okay. You can come and attend the event with your friends and family and have a wonderful evening.
Well, that sounds delicious. And I love the fact that the firefighters are going to be the servers. That's excellent.
Yes,
Love
we're
it.
looking for fun ways to engage with our community.
That's fabulous. So how many firefighters are there at your station, Tom?
So right now we're primarily staffed with volunteers and student firefighters. So we
Okay.
have 15 volunteer firefighters and
Okay.
6 student firefighters. And then through a one-time grant through the Oregon State Fire Marshal's Office, they provided us with 2 full-time firefighters for the last 3 years. So we've taken that opportunity and essentially run with it to kind of bolster our response efforts. And right now we're in the middle of a proposed tax levy to our constituents to try to keep those positions permanently.
Nice. Okay. Well, that'll be really fun. And you'll be in uniform, I assume.
No, we won't be in uniform. We
Okay.
actually have, one of our volunteers is a graphic designer and he does t-shirts. So he travels around the nation and goes to large fires and sells fire shirts.
Oh,
so
cool.
he has designed a crab feed t-shirt for us that we're going to get made, and that's what we're going to wear to distinguish us from the other people or the customers. And our table sponsor, or not our event sponsor, Cascade Fire Equipment, part of their package that they've done to sponsor our event is they're going to receive the same shirts as well. So,
oh, fun. Okay. Yeah. So you mentioned the prizes earlier. Yes. Are you having a silent auction, a live auction, a raffle? What are the pieces? And then I'll give a little description of what my item is going to be.
Absolutely. Yep. So we will have raffle items. We will have a silent auction. We will have a silent dessert auction. We will have a whiskey pull. Yes. And then I will have a large amount of door prizes. So everybody who purchases a sleeve of raffle tickets will also have a door prize ticket as well.
Nice. So we will post if you're watching, we will post all of this information in the notes so that you can find out more about the fire safety, more about the fire station, and more about the event, and get clicks on exactly where to go. So we'll post those later. But so for my prize, we're gonna do a private group class, which actually will probably be on Zoom, where if, Rebecca, and I'm making this up, but maybe, your sister lives in Florida and your brother's in Texas, and you guys don't get to see each other that often. And so we do a virtual dinner party and we create a custom menu, and then we go on Zoom and everyone's making the same thing. And your cousins are all running in the video, talking to each other and talking about soccer and whatever. And and then at the end, you all have this beautiful dinner. And then I actually leave the Zoom and you guys get to stay on and have your dinner and talk with your family for as long as you want. So that's the virtual one. If someone who's local does does an in-person, I can Zoom in and they can, if they're all at one house, we can kind of maneuver that. But generally that's, from long distance, that's how those work. And I have a 9-page menu on my website for people to pick their custom dinner. So, and then I think you'll make like a little physical basket with, I don't know what's going to go in there exactly, but something for them to walk home with too.
Something with wine and probably a gift card to help offset the cost of groceries, so that it's
okay,
a really,
nice,
fun event for everyone.
Nice, I love it. So yeah, so Gia's Italian Kitchen, look for that, bid on it to raise money for the fire station. So you're going to raise funds. Tell me again, what are we raising funds for the fire station?
Yeah, so all the funds are going to go to our auxiliary. So our auxiliaries are benevolent side of the fire district. They do things from CPR, first aid classes, all the way to pulse and DNR classes to help educate the community.
Nice. Okay.
So they also do fundraisers. This is the first time we're doing a crab feed, but we do an annual spaghetti feed each year. So they're there to help support the operations of the fire district, and they raise funds. So if we get offered this, X product, or we need to buy this and we don't have the funds out of our general budget, then we can go to the auxiliary and say, hey, will you, please help us with this. But all 100% of the proceeds are going to go to them. They're registered 501c3. So anything you do with your business and you buy or purchase for them, we can use it as a tax write-off. And they're just there to support us and the community.
Love it. That's awesome. I love this.
If you are remote and you are looking to make a tax deductible donation, you are welcome to go to the Evans Valley Fire Department website, and there is a tab there for donate, and we can make sure to provide you with the necessary receipts for your tax write-off.
Fabulous. We'll put a link for that too, just to make sure everyone gets there. Easy, easy, easy button. Okay, Tom, back to safety.
Okay.
Fire extinguisher or blanket?
Yeah.
When and which one is better, if, and when do we do these?
Yeah, I think it comes down to, picking a car, right? If you want to go fast, you're going to go buy a sports car. If you want to go in the woods, you're going to get something with 4-wheel drive. And it's the same with a fire extinguisher or a fire blanket. The fire extinguisher, it's an ABC, so it's going to do all 3 different types of fire. So it's going to do your type A, which is going to be your wood debris. So you can use it outside if you need to. It's going to do B, which is your liquids, and it's going to do C, which is your electrical. So you can use it out in the garage. It's a great tool for homeowners to have to be able to be versatile and use all around their house. It may not make the food salvageable, though, if you use it in an accident. Your fire blanket is kind of singular use. It's going to cover and smother the fire. It's going to exclude the oxygen when you turn that stove off, and then your fire is going to go out. So I think having both is better than none. But if you were probably just to go with one, I would definitely recommend having a fire extinguisher.
Okay. So I've seen them used. I've never personally used them. Can you give us some quick, and I know this is virtual, so this isn't, I'm not going to do it, but of course there's instructions, but if I have a fire in my kitchen, I'm going to panic, right? And I'm probably not going to put my glasses on and read this. So can you get what is step 1, 2, and 3? If we have that, what am I doing to this thing?
Yeah, so it's real easy. There's 4 letters that you need to remember. Actually, 3 letters. But pass. Remember pass. P-A-S-S. First one, P, pull. So at the very top, you're going to see a pin. You want to pull that pin out. Yep. And then you're going to grab by the handle. And then A, you're going to aim. So aim at the fire. Don't aim at your spouse. Aim at the fire. The next one is going to be squeeze. Squeeze that trigger. When you squeeze that trigger, you also need to sweep. So sweep back and forth as you're extinguishing the agent. So pull, aim, squeeze, sweep.
Now, what is this thing though? Is this a safety thing?
I have no idea what that is.
Looks like it's a wall mount.
It looks like it's a wall mount. Yep.
So I could remove this.
Yeah.
Okay. So now,
yep, that little red tab. Pull that out.
Aim. Squeeze. Okay. And then,
the handle,
yeah.
not
Okay.
the bottle.
Okay. That's not so bad. I feel so much better. Love it. Okay, so when I'm cooking Italian mostly. I'm using olive oil, everywhere, in everything, in the oven, on the stove. Any general tips of safety prevention on how to not have an oil fire? And I haven't, but a lot of times when we measure, like you said, we're kind of eyeballing what we're putting in there. Any general tips for preventing, the fires or mishaps with oils?
Yeah, I would say be attentive to what you're doing, right? If you're cooking over a gas heat, make sure your pan is completely covering the burner. So when you're dumping that oil in, if you accidentally miss because you're looking over your shoulder, it doesn't go right into the flames, right?
That's a great tip.
If you're using electric heat, same thing, right? Same in your oven if you're gonna bake something within it. So just being attentive to what you're doing, paying attention to what you're doing, and also using the right tool for the application, right? I'm sure you prefer to use olive oil because of the aromatic flavors and how it interacts with vegetables and meat. But we want to make sure that we're not overdoing it, right? So we're not putting too much in, or we're not using a cookie sheet to bake something. We're using a nice 9x13 with a good lip so we can put liquid.
Yes. I always put that in all my recipes. I'm like, pretty much you don't ever use a cookie sheet that doesn't have sides, because something is just gonna go psh, no matter what you're cooking. It's just kind of, just get rid of those things. Okay, let's see. What other tips could you give us, whether it's not Italian, but just general tips that we haven't talked about for kitchen safety that you think folks should know?
I would always make sure, when you turn your oven on, that you look inside to make sure you didn't leave last night's dinner in there.
Oh,
Or
that's a good one.
your kids weren't playing hide and go seek and they put a stuffed animal in there. When I was little, we had some, sugary cereal. My sister didn't want to let me eat it, so she put it in the oven. 2 days later, we went to go make some cookies, melted the box of Captain Crunch. So pay attention to what's in the oven once you turn it on. Make sure it's empty before you get going. And also when you're looking in there, make sure it's empty, that it's clean, right? If you cooked a pie and then you're coming back a week later and you're cooking, chicken, well, that pie and all of that goodness of those berries may be on the bottom next to your heating element, which is going to cause it to smoke. Smoke's going to roll out of the oven. It's going to set off your fire detectors, smoke alarms. Depending on what system you have, that may activate a call from the firefighters. And if you still don't have any of that pie, we might be a little grumpy. So, pay attention to what's in there. Make sure it's clean cooking surface.
I love it. I can't believe your sibling did that. That is terrible. Oh my gosh. Well, I as you were telling that story, I was thinking over the years, I've probably, and I don't want to say the wrong thing here, but found an Easter basket that somebody hid in the oven because someone's trying to get creative on where to,
Easter bunny.
yeah, that you don't want to forget about that. Well, thank you so much. I love this. This has been so awesome. Rebecca, what else would you like folks to know about the event that we haven't talked about?
This is a very worthy cause. We are a small rural community and we are in need of some support. So we are very happy that we are partnering with the Rogue Pub and Putt. They are helping to sponsor the event. It will be a good time. Lots of fun prizes to win, delicious food. It'll be a blast.
Support the fire department. Thank you so much, Tom, for giving us your time and your wisdom. And Rebecca, I'm glad to finally meet you after all these years of virtual. But I wish you well in the event, and we will post all of the links on here so you can find the fire department and the event, the crab feed, so that they have a wildly successful event. And like you said, if you are not near the Rogue Valley, you can donate to the event or to the fire station, just the same on their website. So support the firefighters. Thank you so much. It was great to meet you guys.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Do you love crab, exciting prizes, and music? Then don't miss our delicious fundraising event designed to support our local firefighters and enhance the safety of our community. Join us for the Evans Valley Fire District No. 6's first ever crab feed fundraiser. Prepare for an unforgettable evening filled with music, over $9,000 in raffle prizes, a silent auction, a spirit pull, fresh crab dishes catered by The Wharf, the local award-winning restaurant. The event will be held at the new family-owned Rogue Pub and Putt. Scan this QR code or visit our website to secure your tickets today. We can't wait to see you there.